Okay, so another installment of videoism. So some of you may have noticed I talk about personal stuff now on these videos. So I had two pages, one where I would talk about personal stuff, and then the other page I would go on about atheism and antinatalism and things like that. But yeah, they've merged, and now another emergent property is that these videos are in color. So I've been kind of destabilized in the last little while. I've been kind of bouncing around between content and what do I say and what do I talk about. As many of you know, I've been kind of feeling kind of down recently. Maybe at the beginning of this year it started, and I think it's gotten a little bit worse, but I also see it getting a little bit better. So that's good. Um, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, one friend suggested it was something called acedia, which could be either mental or spiritual sloth. But I'll say what I told him. I much rather rot in bed than accept God's love. So that's the atheist in me, obviously. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It could be acedia. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. Then there's all these and at the beginning of the pandemic it seemed like everything was pretty much the same for me because it's not like I used to go out a lot or anything like that, so things seemed pretty much the same. But I have to say, the whole coronavirus thing, the whole COVID-19 lockdown and all the other stuff happening around it I have to say it did kind of seep into my psyche a little bit. It did feel I did feel some restriction, coming up around the middle of the year, like around July or so. Um, so it's kind of like a reality check or something like that. And yeah, so it did get into my head a little bit. So there's all these things going on, and who knows what it is exactly, right? Um, anyway, so this morning I wake up and I checking my news feed and I see that Sam Harris posted one of his quotes, and it says, "If you're not informed, don't have strong opinions." Kind of hit me a little bit hard because a lot of my friends know a lot more than I do, and so sometimes I feel like I'm lagging behind. But I do have these strong feelings and these strong opinions. Maybe it's just the subject matter is kind of like emotionally charged, and that's what I'm feeling, as opposed to being very well informed. Or maybe it's just a healthy dose of self-doubt, because we all need to have some sense of self-doubt. Like, I wouldn't say all the time, but I regularly kind of step back and think, is there a God? Like, what is that? What would it be? So, I mean, yeah, I'll pat myself on the back and say it's a healthy dose of self-doubt. Um, but anyway, so it kind of coincided with this idea that popped in my head the other day. It was about the combative and adversarial nature of some feminists. And in previous videos, I had also mentioned that it's an evolutionary trait of men to be more competitive. And maybe I'm splitting hairs here by saying combative as opposed to competitive, but I do believe there's a difference. And what I was referring to when I said women, or not women, but feminists, especially the ones with a Me Too streak, have a very combative and adversarial stance towards men, is the basis of that combativeness and that adversarialism is kind of based on sex and gender, right? Like, it's not based on anything else. So you end up with terms like toxic masculinity, and you end up with people. My favorite quote of the Me Too movement, Emily Linden's quote, basically saying that, down with the patriarchy, and so what if a few innocent men go down with it, right? So that's what I meant by combative and adversarial, in that sense. I'm not saying all women are like that. I'm just saying that, and I'm also saying that too, as to show a point between previous versions of feminism that looked more to equality, and equity, and parity on various levels. Whereas this form, this wave of feminism, especially of the Me Too kind, is kind of it's like I said, combative and adversarial, right? Like, it wants to destroy men almost, and it even goes after, like, evolutionary, like, traits of you know of the human race, of the human species, like sexually dimorphic. Like, I mean, there's they go after that as well. So and it seems a lot of times that they kind of want to destroy men as a sex or as a gender. So that's all I meant. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Bye.